Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Evermore YouTube channel. It's Chris back with your instant match reaction to Newcastle United 3, Burnley 1 down at Turf Moor. It sounds like a really good scoreline, but anybody who watched that game tonight probably watched some of it through their fingers because Newcastle didn't half make hard work of this result. This is a result that gets them into the top half of the table to close the year out. So we're going to finish 2025 as a top 10 side, but we all know the year's been a little bit more complex now. But we're going to get stuck right into this game, talk about the key moments, talk about the star performers, and just talk about how much hard work Newcastle United made this game towards the end. Before we do, a little reminder, if you haven't already, smash subscribe, help get us to the next milestone. We're already 12,300 now, so you're really helping us along our way nicely to the 13,000 mark. If we can end 2025 on, say, 12,500, then that's a right belter because we'll only have 500 to get in the first few weeks of the year or months of the year to get 13,000. So thanks everyone for smashing that button and welcome to all the new subscribers. So let's get stuck in then. So the lineup, I got this one right, didn't I, in the preview? So the lineup is exactly what we thought it was going to be. There was some changes. Nick Pope came back into the side for Aaron Ramsdale. I kind of felt that was going to happen. I think a lot of people thought that as well. We saw some of the best and worst of Nick Pope tonight, I suppose, in terms of his kicking and then his shot stopping as well. But I just think that the change was going to be needed. Ramsdale's been a bit shaky, I think, with some of the shots that he's been faced. That Joelinton came back into the side, I think, after the performance of Jacob Ramsey at Old Trafford, and that wouldn't surprise me either. And the main start we were all looking for really was obviously Wissa through the middle in space of Voldemort. And we actually had Gordon and Barnes out wide. So Barnes was obviously shifted over to the right-hand side. But you look at that lineup and you thought to yourself, that's a good enough lineup to get a result here, and I said that in the preview as well. So we started the game, and you just wonder, you don't know what Newcastle United is going to show up, do you, from game to game? But we started the game just before the game kicked off. I mean, I was watching it on the TV, and I thought I was watching a fucking nightclub at one point. All these lights pulsating. I was like, are these guys 19th, or are they like top two of the the NFL or something like that? All this Americanisms of sport over here is starting to get a bit too much, isn't it, really? But fair play to Burnley, get parties started in Lancashire. But so we started the game and we started out like a house on fire, really. We were intense, we were mobile. Joelinton looked bang up from this right from the start. You could just tell he had that kind of chest out, that look on his face, like he was meaning business tonight. And it was good to see that from Joelinton. And straight from the off, Anthony Gordon looked a bit more lively. You could see he was wanting to run at his fullback, and he was wanting to commit his fullback because obviously Kyle Walker was playing a little bit further up the park, so he was running at Lauren and he was getting a nice bit of change in the first half. And the goal comes, it's like 2 minutes or something like that. It's a lovely bit of wing play by Gordon. He sells a dummy, steps outside, like he's going to cross on his other foot, and he chucks back in, puts the ball across, and it's a great movement run from Joelinton, just flicks it into the far corner. And it's frustrating from Joelinton because you see him score goals like that and you think he should be doing that 8 to 10 times a season, but injuries and suspensions and lack of form kind of prevents Joelinton doing that. But it's a beautiful finish, and he puts us 1-0 up, and you think, right, Newcastle, come on, let's go. And we didn't really let Burnley breathe after that. So the kind of first 10-15 minutes of the game were all over them. They couldn't get out their own half. Everybody wanted a piece of the action. Everyone wanted the ball. Everyone was showing for the ball. Nice little passes in between from full back, centre half, cross to midfield. And we look bang up for this. Then the second goal comes. It's a nice little bit of play. Barnes gets released down. He takes a shot. Dubravka kind of comes out, and I think it's their centre half. I can't tell if is it Estevan, I think it is. Him and Dubravka kind of clash into each other. Bruno's right in there. That's one thing I noticed, certainly in the first 10, 50 minutes of this game, is that Bruno was really high up the pitch. Joelinton was high up the pitch. They were getting into the box. They were hungry. They were interested. They were looking for the ball. And Dubravka and the defender kind of spill it, get in between each other. And, Dubravka's never really got a hold of the ball. Keepers get ridiculous amounts of protection in this day and age in the world of football. But Dubravka's never got a hold of this ball. Bruno Guimaraes has every single right to go for this ball. And he gets a toe on and he flicks it, falls to Wissa. Wissa hits it. First attempt, I think, is blocked off the line, comes back to him. And then he just kind of instinctive, very Pape Cissé type finish of, kind of shaping his body the wrong way and then toe poking it into the top corner. First Premier League start, first Premier League goal for Johan Wissa. And I thought he looked really lively, certainly in the first 15 minutes of the game. He was popping the ball off. He was playing 1-2s. He was spinning in behind. I'm a big fan of Nick Voldemort, and I think what he's done since he's come here has been incredible, really, the amount of goals he scored, given the lack of service that he's had. But Wissa gives you something else. He gives you that mobility. He gives the ability to stretch defenses. You could see the Burnley defence not knowing where he was, certainly for the first 10, 15 minutes of the game. And you're thinking, right, come on, Newcastle, you could really make a statement here. You could batter this lot, and we could be 4-5-0 up, even a half time the way this is going. And then true to form, Newcastle United step off the gas. They drop so far deep back into their own half. And I'll get into this probably in more detail in a second, but this is definitely by design and by instruction from either Eddie Howe, Bonds, or both of them combined, because that team in the first 10, 15 minutes should have kept their foot on the throat, should have went for Burnley, should have made it 3-0, should have made it 4-0, and their heads would have completely fell off if Newcastle had done that. And they could have done that, but they didn't do that. They dropped back, they invited pressure. The boy Edwards for Burnley gets in the ball, really tidy player him. I saw a bit of the shades of Morgan Gibbs-White in him, to be brutally honest with you. I thought he was really, really good. They allowed him on the ball too much, the same as they allow all dangerous players for opposition teams, because we dropped so far back. Nobody presses them. The intense press was gone. The midfield wasn't high. Wissa was isolated. You were like, what the fucking hell is going on? And then true to form, Burnley get back in and they get a goal. Ball comes over to the back stick. Lewis Hall jumps for it, kind of misses the flight of the ball, drops to Laurent. It's a great strike. He bangs it into the bottom corner, and you're thinking, oh my God, what is going on here? And again, it's just Newcastle are just second best at everything. Burnley don't look like the team in 19th in the table. They look like the team that's wanting to dominate us. They're playing with bravery. They're playing with intensity. They're wanting the ball. They're flying at tackles. They're showing everything that Newcastle isn't showing in the game. And we get to half time, and you think, fucking hell, we're still 2-1 up at half time. You think, what the hell's going on here? Newcastle have got to have a rocket up their arse at half time to say, get back and control this game. And we'll come out and we're just weak again. We're slow to the ball. We're passing's all over the place. They want it more. And they had so many chances. They hit the bar with a header. They had a header that just missed the back stick. Nick Pope's making a couple of really good saves. And everyone just completely regressed in their performance in the game. I thought Sandro Tonali was dreadful in the second half. He gave the ball away about 19 times, I think, in total in the whole game. But him and Bruno, probably from about the hour mark, a pair of them were blown out their arse. They couldn't even run 2 yards. I could hear their fucking thighs rubbing together. I don't know if they've had too many heroes or Kinder Buenos over Christmas and Bruno's sake, but they just look so knackered and so unfit and so tired. Once again, the players who looked like they had any kind of imagination was Lewis Hall at left back, who went down with an ankle injury. And I was thinking, oh my God, don't tell me he's knackered again. Everyone just dropped off completely. They didn't really have enough opportunities to do anything really. And then we make the substitutions and we kind of start coming back into the game probably towards the last kind of, 10, 15 minutes of the game. But Burnley deserved an equaliser in that second half. Arguably, they deserved to win the game. I think if they'd got that equaliser, I think Burnley would have went on and won that game. And this is not a good Burnley side. It's not blessed with loads of quality. We are the ones with £50 million midfielders and 55 million pound strikers and 70 million pound wingers and 40 million pound fullbacks. We should be beating these lot comfortably, more comfortably than this. But Burnley really fought hard in this game, and they probably deserved the point out of it. Scott Parker will be saying that, no doubt, probably with his next cardigan on, and his funky, stylish shoes. He is a stylish lad, to be fair to him. But, they probably think they deserve the point out of this, and it's hard to argue with that. But we get the third goal in the end. Bruno Guimaraes makes it so. Nick Valtemada came on. He tried to get on the ball a little bit, tried to make things happen. He looked a bit hungry for it, but he's not got the mobility Vissa's got. But again, he was trapping the ball, but nobody's around him again. We made substitutions. Gordon came off. Ramsey came on again. I thought another poor showing from Jacob Ramsey. I don't see what we've spent 40 million quid on. I really don't. I text my mate who's a Villa fan. I just said, you've had our pants down with him. I think he's dog shit. I just don't think either he can't work out what he wants to be in this team, or Eddie Howe can't work out how to use him, and possibly both of those things are accurate. But I've not been impressed with Jacob Ramsey of late at all. I really haven't. He offered very little coming on. Murphy missed a fucking sitter at the back stick. Thankfully for him, Wissa was offside, so that saved his blushes. But again, Bruno gets the third goal. It's a bit of a mix-up again between, I think it's Ekdal, who did get a shout for a handball in the first half, or the second half, was it? It wasn't a handball. It wasn't a handball. If they're going to be given, Jesus Christ, we'll have 100 penalties a game. But Dubravka and Ekdal kind of clash into each other. No one knows what to do with the ball. It's a nice little bit of play by Bruno Guimaraes. He dinks it over the top. it's in the back of the net for 3-1. He's giving it big licks and celebrating to the crowd and everything else as well. But 3 points in the bag, but very unconvincing performance by Newcastle United. And on another day, by another team with more quality players, Newcastle probably don't leave that stadium with the points. But it's a big win. It's a big win in a run of games. We've got 3 games coming up now. And we've got obviously Burnley today. We've got the 3 points from. We've got Palace at home at the weekend, which I will be at the game. So you'll have Mark on post-match duties for that one. Yes, I do go to the games sometimes. All these dickheads will give you shit on social media. Not that I read that bollocks anymore because I don't even bother engaging with these fucknuts. But then we've got Leeds after that as well. And they're 3 massive games for me. I think Newcastle United have to win. Simple as that. And I think it's Wolves after that possibly. So you're looking at 4 games. Newcastle United really have to take maximum points for. But this was a huge win for Eddie Howe. Huge win for the players tonight. Very unconvincing. Way less convincing than the scoreline may suggest. But they got the job done in the end. My man of the match, before I get into your comments, was Joelinton. I thought Joelinton showed up tonight. I thought he was aggressive. I thought he was hungry for it. He was putting himself in good positions. He was defensively sound as well. A couple of great headers in the box to get rid of the danger. I thought he was really good in terms of his output in the game. I thought when other people faded, he stood tall. So I thought Joelinton was great tonight. I thought Lewis Hall was excellent again tonight. Honourable mention to him. And I think Lewis Miley was solid again at right back, even though I think he's a better midfielder than a right back. And I think our midfield has lost control. You look at Sandro Tonali in that game, his passing so wayward. He's looking knackered. I don't know whether it's a physical thing or a mental thing, or he doesn't want to be here anymore. I don't know what it is, but I think if we had a right back to play, or if Eddie Howe had the balls to put a right back in like Leo Shahar, or even bring on Alex Murphy, put him at left centre half, but share at right centre half and move Malik Chow to right back, he could have pushed Miley into midfield, took Tonali off and got a little bit more control of the game, but he doesn't want to do that. So he's going to continue to play Miley in right back until we either buy a right back or Trippier or Tino Livramento get back fit. Let's talk about Trippier leaving in January. I wouldn't be surprised at that, to be brutally honest with you. It depends what Trippier wants to do. I think if he's got 1 or 2 seasons left in him at the top level, I think injuries are taking a bite in him now. He's taking a long time to recover. I'm not going to get into the stuff off the pitch that people are speculating about. None of my fucking business anyway. But I don't think there's any need for that. But he's been a great servant at Newcastle, Trippier. And I just think that this could be, maybe time to move him on, free that wage up from the, the old PSR coffers as well. But, it was a tough win for Newcastle, but a win nonetheless. So let's get stuck into the comments then, guys. So comment here from Daniel saying what would we do that Bruno, man? He drags that team. Barnes should get that request in as well. He's trapped like the ginger stepson to the golden boy who spends more time on the deck. Yeah, I mean, Gordon as well was all over the place when he was diving all over the place. I don't like that kind of stuff. I blame that hairband. He thinks he's fucking Pavel Nedved. Doesn't play like him. Jay is saying that was a painful watch, but we got the win. Absolutely. That's the main thing. The win was the big thing. George is very unconvincing, but a very welcome 3 points. Yeah, that's definitely my take on it, George, too. Vincent says, shake your times, and it's only Burnley. But got the much needed away time after some scrappy results and performances. 100%. Roger's in the chat. Good to see you, Roger. Another one from Anthony saying, one word, lucky. Absolutely, mate. 100%. Bolden Big Lad says, the result, the paper's over the cracks. It does, mate. It does. We all see the cracks. I think most of us in these comments see the cracks. I'll get into this performance management thing in a minute. But yeah, at another day against a better team, we'd have lost that game. Steven says, without Bruno, we may very well be in Burnley's position. He's a prince, but how out? He's an utter clown. Bruno walking straight past him was telling, BG be gone in the summer of house days. Yeah, I think there may be a little bit something in that, I think. But then that's players losing confidence in a manager. I think that I said that the other day. I said that, managers only have a short shelf life in football these days, whether you like it or not. You're talking 3 or 4 year spell. And after that, the players then start to question whether the manager's, ideas are still the ones to implement and all that. And it's a lot of it's to do with player egos. It doesn't matter what that manager's done in a 4 year spell that they've been there. The players think they're bigger than the manager. It's always the case in football. It's just the way things are. And Newcastle and Eddie Howe are not exempt from that either, to be brutally honest with you. Again, Jason, can't decide if Tonali or Gordon were the worst player on the pitch. I'll say Tonali for me, mate. I think Gordon at least tried and he gets the assist for the first goal. So I'll give him a pass on that one. Stephen again says, papering over the cracks is about the size of it. Burnley are abysmal. That's the only reason we have 3 points. Like the majority of our post-cup matches under how we were fucking honking. Don't disagree with that. Jason, only 4 points from 5th, which almost makes things even worse when you think of all the easy points we've dropped. That's the thing. When everybody uses that argument, oh, the league's really tight and all that, and you think, yeah, but look at the points we've left out there. We could be sitting fucking 3rd in the table if we'd actually done our jobs and played to anywhere near our levels. You know, that's the thing to concentrate on here, not the fact that the league's still tight. Martin Dubravka is one of our own. I did hear that, Chad. Poor bastard. It was funny, though. Phil saying, anyone else apart from Burnley, we would have lost that game. Yeah, I totally agree with that, Phil. Young Grexy said, is that my camera? Oh, I'm back. I don't know what happened there. That was very weird. I had a little spin there. Had a little spin into nothingness there. I don't know what was going on. I'll come there from Ty saying, we're winning away. How shit you must be. We're winning away. That must be one of the other chants as well. I didn't hear that one. But you got to love the away fans, I tell you. Absolutely brilliant, to be brutally fair. We got here. Another comment from Burn the Heretic. Hall is really coming into his own now. His versatility allows him to play left back, but surely his skills belong in midfield. I think with him and Lewis Miley, you could easily play with kind of 2 of those full backs that invert into midfield. And I think that's something that Howe's going to have to explore. I really do. I think maybe out of possession, it's a back 4. In possession, those 2 join the midfield. And I think that's something that the manager will have to explore. He's almost stumbled across. He hasn't come up with it himself. And I just think that the way we're playing at the minute, because we lack so much control in midfield and so much creativity. I want to see Bruno further up the park. I mean, in terms of the team that we have now, if you try that kind of 4-2-3-1 formation, you could have, when we have a full-back fit, that is, or if he has any balls to do what I said before, put Alex Murphy in at centre-half, or if Botman finally decides that he can be fucking healthy enough to play a game of football that he's massively paid well for once again after having injections back how many weeks ago? I mean, that guy's fucking falling to pieces, man. Get rid, sell him, and get somebody who can stay fit. I know he's a great player, but he's never fucking there. Jonathan Woodgate Mark II, that lad, he really is. But, play Murphy at left-sided centre-half, play Shea at right centre-half, put Chowan at right back, Lewis Hall at left back, then put Miley and Tonali in as a double pivot, and then put, Bruno a little bit further up the park, maybe behind Wissa, or try a Voltemada in there and put Bruno and Tonali in a double pivot, whichever way you want to do it. But he's got options to try that formation, and everyone's crying out for that formation, but he's just not doing it. That's the problem. Hall again, man of the match for me, says Phil. Absolutely, Phil's a good show. Big G says, I think this is definitely a mentality issue. I don't think Eddie would have told him to sit off for 40 minutes. Well, coming on to that, Big G, my theory on this, I've been thinking this for a long time. I've said it on the channel numerous times as well. Ever since James Bunce came in, this team has started to do this kind of thing. And I understand Eddie Howe's style of play, that intensity, that on your front foot thing can burn players out. And that's why he wanted to sign loads of athletes and runners, because that's how he plays. And a lot of the players that he trusts in are now on the wrong side of 30. So they can't play that level of intensity in games for a period of time, or the bodies just won't allow them to do it. They're just too old for it. Some of the players are injury prone. And we see players getting injured. Quite a lot. Tino Livramento is a prime example. Sadly, hate to say it, great young player, but injury prone. You have to start asking yourself, if Manchester City want to come in and offer you 75 million for Tino, you can get yourself a decent right back somewhere for, 25, 30 million. Do you cash in? Because the danger of Tino being injured again and again and again seems to keep rearing its ugly head, same as Sven Botman. You've got to start asking these questions. You do. Football fan, but a manager and a club as well. You really have to. But ever since James Bunce came in, this weird game management thing has become more and more apparent. And I think if you look at the way Newcastle play, if you step back and try and look at it, right? If you watch every single Newcastle performance, certainly away from home, we have this like 10 to 15 minute out the trap, especially at home, out the traps, in your face, intensity, pressing, hunting and packs, trying to make things happen. And then whether we get a goal or 2 goals like we did tonight, it's almost like on the 20th minute mark, just go back. Just everyone drop back, everyone pull back, reserve your energy, charge your tanks or whatever, right? But we're not a good enough team to hold the ball enough to deal with that. We're not a good enough team to defend deep like that, especially missing the players that are missing. We're missing the likes of Dan Burn, Sven Botman, Timo Livramento. We're missing those defenders. So at the minute, we're just inviting more and more pressure on ourselves. Our midfield's not functioning very well. Tonali's dropped right off a cliff in terms of that world-class number 6 who hunts players down and wins the ball back, is box to box. Could tackle a fucking brick wall and run through it. That's what Tonali used to be, but that's not Tonali anymore. Now, whether that's a physical injury thing or his illness or whatever, or whether there's something more worrying about that, behind the scenes, I don't know. But the way the team is right now, we can't play like that. So just to keep doing the James Bond's playbook and Eddie Howe implementing that in game together as the team of Newcastle United is not working. So they're going to have to either go back to intensity as our identity, in your face, rushing, or tweak the formation to allow the players that can look after the ball to play in positions where they can look after the ball. That might mean playing Nick Fortemada in a withdrawn striker role, or it might mean playing a double pivot, like I said before, with either Miley and Tonali in there or Bruno a little bit further up. But he has to make changes. Just to consistently go 4-3-3 and do this game management does not work. A better team than Burnley batter us tonight. It's as simple as that. It really is. Pooley Mags is saying, made hard work, if I like you say, but a win is a win. Absolutely. Pope justified his recall, said Graham. Yeah, I thought Pope was solid enough tonight. Kicking was dreadful as always, but good shot stopping. Good command of his box, collected the ball well. And I didn't feel he was going to concede many goals. I mean, that one at the back, he's not got much of a chance, but I think the Ramsdale experiment probably has failed in all fairness. We need a better keeper than both of them, and I'm talking a proper fucking keeper, probably not till the summer. We're going to do a show about what we need in January. But I don't think a keeper will be on the agenda unless they can get some kind of a loan deal for Trafford, which I don't think they will. And for what it's worth, I don't think James Trafford is the answer either. I think putting a young keeper like him in this position, I think would be really, really risky. So I think they need to get a proper goalkeeper, somebody like Diego Costa from Porto, a proper goalkeeper, experience, established, cost you 50-odd million quid, but be worth its weight in gold. Marcus Held saying, must keep Hall at all costs. Absolutely. That'd be my worry if we miss out on Champions League. Someone will come sniffing for him because he's a hell of a player. Again, Pooley Max saying, Nick and Ramsey helped us add composure in the last 50 minutes. I didn't feel Ramsey added any composure. Pooley, to be honest with you, mate, I thought he was shit. Young Grexy saying, Hall definitely man of the match again. Yeah, Kev agrees. Hall man of the match. Scott says, we don't seem to want to put a foot in for attack in case we get injured. Second half is dog shit. Bruno was definitely trying to avoid that yellow card. You could see that in his game. It really did hamper his game tonight. It really, really did. Looney Tunes says that performance was shit. Yeah, absolutely. It's hard to disagree with that in many ways, but the result was good. Performance was shit. Usman says, we can't play Gordon on the right and Barnes on the left. Gordon can hit a barn door, but can cross well with his right. Oh, why can't we? Sorry, beg your pardon. Yeah, I'd play Gordon on the right. The reason Howe doesn't want to do that is because he doesn't want to upset Anthony Gordon. I'd be saying, tough shit, hairband, you're on the right, and Barnes is on the left because he can cut in and be more dangerous on that foot. Kong backs powers. It was hard work that leg, but good 3 points, absolutely. Jack Lockhart. It's a long. I'm tired as well, Jack. I was at a wedding the other day. I tell you, tired lad. Can't be doing these weddings and hectic festive schedules anymore. We need at least 2 fullbacks in January if Trips goes. Yeah, I think we need 2 fullbacks anyway. Phil saying a win is a win. However, we look a shadow of the team we were last season. Absolutely. Phil says fucking Sandro Hendrick. He's going to pull a mask off like Scooby-Doo, and it's going to be Jeff Hendrick behind that bloody mask. What a nightmare. We've got super chat in from Magpies 50. Thank you very much, mate. Appreciate that. Hi, Chris. We stopped again after 7 minutes. Never mind come out for the second until Bruno saved us. If that was anybody else, we were so lucky, but same shit. Hard to disagree, mate. Hard to disagree. Chucky says we were a bag of shite in the second half. We really, really were. Marcus was saying January 26, maybe like January 22. Absolutely. It could be a transformative window if they do that, but do you back this manager to buy players to do that? I'm not sure I do, to be honest with you. Foggy Crack says even a win is not enjoyable anymore. Yeah, I think everyone's just frustrated, I think, is what it is, to be brutally honest with you. A few more comments here. What we got? We got Ian Toon Trader in the chat. Long time no see, mate. I'm good. Hope you had a good Christmas, Bonnie lad. Good to see you. Derek is saying, feed the hamster, keep the power growing. Okay, mate. I think Derek's still having a few Christmas bevies there. Feliz Navidad, mate. Graham says Trafford definitely not. Yeah, I don't think he's the right lad to bring in. I really, really don't. I don't think they'll bring a keeper in January. I think they'll spend money elsewhere, to be brutally honest with you. MFS is apparently we're willing to pay 50 million for Keith Schmidt. I think I heard that January was going to be difficult to get to him, but I think he's a good player. He looks very much the kind of player that can unlock the doors. 19 years old though. It's a big gamble in it. 50 million quid, a 19-year-old could be fucking world class, but could swallow him up. Come to a league like this, you just don't know. But I'm not sure we'll get him in January. I think that might be a summer deal if we do get anything there. MFS says if Hall wasn't a Newcastle fan, he would have fucked off a long time ago. That's probably one of the only good things we've got for Hall, I think, that he is a magpie at heart, isn't he? Raise your props says Miley's been good at right back. He has been really good at right back. He shows his versatility. It's actually made him a better player all around. I think his defensive capabilities have got much better. Antagonized saying we're missing Tino so much to drop Miley in the midfield. I think you're right. We can't really put Miley in midfield because of the complete lack of right backs, really. But he's doing really well there because he's a really good footballer, a really, really good footballer. He's doing a really good job there. Like I say, his defensive capabilities is so much better than what it used to be. And that's good. That's a really good thing for Lewis Miley to learn. So he'll be a better player for it when he gets in midfield and plays in that kind of deep line role. Hi, Chris. How are you? Lewis Hall, man of the match. Guessing Eddie Howe should be sacked to Glasner. I'm not sure about Glasner, to be honest with you. I know he's the kind of the trendy guy at the minute, but if you're going to sack Eddie Howe, which I don't think the club will do, certainly not after the third away win in nearly 2 years or whatever it is, or a year, I don't think Eddie Howe will get binned until the end of the season if we don't get Champions League, which I still think is going to be really hard to do. But I want a level up if that's the case. I want, a Nagelsmann or someone like that. That's who I want in. Nagelsmann's like a better version of Eddie Howe, more tactically flexible. That would be the name I would go for. Would be Nagelsmann. Outside of that, you've got to pay big money to try and get someone like Diego Simeone or something like that. You need a big name. You need somebody that these players are going to be, kind of in awe of, really, in terms of a manager. No disrespect to Eddie. When he came in, he probably had that all to earn from these players, but he has earned that, and in the way that he's performed, as Newcastle manager for the last 3 and 4 years, but it is starting to get stale. And I think these lot need a kick up the arse. And as mad as it sounds, in terms of the only manager you could get a big name and a big reputation manager probably to come and take this job right now would be Jose Mourinho, because he would take it. But I don't know whether it would be good football or not. Would it be effective football? I don't know. But I'm not going to speculate on the manager until that day comes, which I don't think will be till the end of the season anyway. Antastic is saying we can all rely on Chris at full time to make it make sense. Thank you very much, buddy. Really appreciate that. Always nice to have the nice comments. Let's have a look. Brian is saying great 3 points tonight, but problems still remain. Like can't maintain possession and players making wrong decisions on the ball. Yeah, I don't disagree with that, Brian. I mean, I don't know what has happened to Sandro Tonali. I was watching the Geordie journos the other day, and I think Liam said that needs to be studied by a university. Tonali's drop off in form, and it does. I mean, something is not right behind the scenes for that lad to have dropped off as much as he does. Then there's a real problem there. There really, really is. And I don't think we'll ever know what it is, probably until he leaves. Then we might find out what it was. John Cook is saying, traffic gives me no confidence. We ain't getting Schmidt. AZ said no to 60 million from Real Madrid. Yeah. Real Madrid are dicks, though, aren't they, as well? A lot of people don't want Real Madrid buying their players because they are dicks, aren't they, really, be honest with you? They're like a flash wanker in a white Range Rover with a personalised reg. Fucking nicks your parking space. That's what basically Real Madrid are in footballing terms. But if Keith Schmidt went there, he probably wouldn't get a sniff. I mean, Arda Gueye's there. He was going to be out on loan somewhere until Alonso started playing him. But if they'd been Alonso and bring somebody else in, Arda Gueye might not even get a game anyway. And he's a brilliant player. So Keith Schmidt, if he's got any sense, won't go anywhere near Real Madrid because he won't get a fucking sniff. Look at Hendrick. He's over in bloody Lyon now because he can't get a game. But it's only on loan because I probably think that they get rid of Vinicius Jr. and leave the kid back. Marcus says no to Glasner as well. Brap says if Sandro doesn't want to play for the club, he has to go. Gordon as well. We need a squad that cares in order to play with intensity. Absolutely. And sometimes younger, hungrier players have something to prove. they're the kind of players that you really want to look at and get a bit more re-energized in that squad. And Taganai's saying he won't get a sack. We all know that, so we must get behind the fella. Now, I mean, I don't think he'll get sacked, but I'm not going to have a go at anybody for questioning the manager's capabilities. If they don't want to back him, they don't need to back him. I support Newcastle United. I'm not an Eddie Howe fan. I'm a Newcastle fan, and whoever the manager is, I want them to do as best as they can. But when the manager's struggling, I'm going to say it like it is. Simple as that. Paul says, what does Howe say to them at half-time? Team talk to come out and put a second. I did ask that as well the other day, mate. Absolutely. Michael says, totally agree with Botman Woodgate comparison, but the latter was a much better player. Jonathan Woodgate was the best centre half I've ever seen play for Newcastle. He was unbelievable. If you can make Titus Bramble look half decent, you are an unbelievable player. Kobe says, time to go for me. That was embarrassing, like watching Soccer Aid at times. You think James Corden was playing right back? Lewis is saying, beating Burnley's like shaking a fantasy. Oh, God. You're getting your end away. But it's just that, well, somebody might enjoy it, mate, to be fair. I tell you, a hole's a goal is what they're saying it, mate. Another one here from Jamie saying, hi, Chris. I'd go for Iriola. See, they've tailed off in form as well. They're completely winless in, was it 9 games or something like that? And, they're going to lose their best player in the next few days by the looks of it. And as if Man City need him, do they? Fuck me. I could win the title, that. Trickster said, is Joelinton now banned? No, I don't think he is. I think it was Bruno that was going to get banned if he got a yellow card. I think Joelinton's all right. I did laugh, though, because I said to Mark, you get a yellow card brushing his teeth, Joelinton, wouldn't he? So 200 appearance for the club, gets a go on a yellow card. You couldn't get any more Joelinton if you possibly try, could you? Paul says Benfica have not lost a league game this season in terms of Jose Mourinho. Yeah, I saw that. As he played 15, lost none. Third in the Portuguese league. It's not a great league though, but it's still, as to say, Jose is doing what Jose does. Tom says Nagelsmann for me if Howe does lose his job. Yeah, we'll not talk too much about that anymore, guys. I think until the day comes. We've won a game there tonight. We'll focus on that, I think, is the main thing. I know a lot of you probably don't particularly enjoy what you're watching, don't support the manager anymore. And, on this channel, you're more than welcome to voice that opinion. But I think we're speculating about him losing his job. And as I've said before, I just don't think it's going to happen until the end of the season. I really don't. I think you could lose 5 or 6 games on the spin. I still don't think they'd bin him until the end of the season. Magpie 50 says, I'm just stunned how Burnley didn't score more. But that won't work against bigger teams because they don't have the quality. If they had the quality, then, they would have beat us, to be honest with you. Again, Paul says, lethargic, mediocre, not enough intensity. Goodbye, Eddie. End of the season. Yeah, I can see it, mate. I can definitely see it, I must admit. Yeah, Kev saying Bramble, oh, God, yeah, he was terrified. Him and Boomsong, God, they were awful, weren't they? Scott says, Wolves have just got drawn Old Trafford. Why couldn't we manage it? We at least 3 new faces in January. The squad definitely needs a little bit of a shot of something new, doesn't it? Graham is saying Man United won. Yeah, it just makes Boxing Day worse. Absolutely. Graham Morton is saying it's a tough watch. However, there is effort. We're being outdone too often by work rate. Time for cohesion and a refresh. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I think there is a lot of things that need to be done, I think, with that squad. John loves the Real comments. Yeah, totally agree. But he's half Catalan, so he's a bias. Yeah. I think most people think Real Madrid are fucking dicks, to be honest with you, mate. I cannot be done with their arrogance, man. Just the way that they can get any player in the world. I tell you what, I know Vinicius Jr. is the most overrated player on the planet right now. What the fuck does he do? He does nothing. Absolutely nothing, and he still thinks he's class. I've seen Chelsea looking the day. Crack on, Chelsea. We'll have Gittins or somebody off you. You can fucking have that useless bastard. Yeah, Ballon d'Or, says Mark. Yeah, in the comments. God, that Rio Ferdinand thing, Jesus. That's a very poor performance. I was bored and expected Burnley to get the equaliser to 3 points, but no improvement, really. Absolutely not. No improvement. And Magpie 50 says Joelinton's on 4 cards. That's a very poor showing from Joelinton. That shows you how injured he's been and out of the team. You can't get booked on the bench. He's not Jamal Lascelles. By the way, I still can't believe people are talking about Jamal Lascelles as a player in this squad. Wow. I mean, nothing against Jamal. He was great for us when we went down and all that, but why is he even still at the club, man? Unbelievable. I just cannot understand it. Yes, I did get your super chat, Magpie. I threw it up before, mate. It was a £5. Thank you very much. Appreciate that, buddy. I don't know if you missed it, possibly. What else we got here? What's in here? A comment from John saying, you can't just blame Eddie. We're talking about so-called professional players here. Eddie can't do their work on the pitch himself. No, it's a valid point, John. That's a valid point, but he does set them up to play in games to the shape that he asked them to play in. And when their performance levels are dropping, he's got to sub them. I think the problem is with a lot of these players is they almost feel like I wouldn't say undroppable, but they just know they're going to get another start regardless of what shift they put in, and that is worrying. That gets rid of competition, in my opinion. It really, really does. Bloody hell. Generous from Marcus again tonight, Marcus. Wow. 50 ever more memberships he's just donated to the channel. You are a machine, mate. Tell you what, you've donated more memberships than Joelinton gets yellow cards, mate. And that is a lot. That is a lot. Thank you very much, pal. Pedro Stoko says, what does he say at halftime? I don't know what he says. I'd love to be in that dressing room to hear the talk. I genuinely would. Not even to stream it or to come out and talk about it, just to hear what he says, because he's a very articulate, intelligent man, but is he motivational enough for these lads? Because when they come out, they don't do anything, but I still think we're lacking leaders on the pitch. Bruno leads by example, no doubt about that. But you don't see a lot of yelling and screaming on the pitch and people talking to one another. That's something that Trippier does bring when he's on the pitch. That's something Dan Burn brings when he's on the pitch. I saw Joelinton screaming tonight at a few of them to get them whipped up and get them up for it, and I think that's what we lack on the pitch. Leaders at times, players can pull moments out of the bag and score goals and do that kind of stuff and quietly go about their business until they win the game for you. But I do think that we need a bit more of that oomph on the pitch. I really do. Scott says you need technical players to break low blocks. Athletes can't affect the game the same way. 100%, mate. I said it on here, said it on Sky, said it on plenty of other platforms as well. He prefers athletes over technicians, and that is now starting to cause us a problem, because I think the Premier League in particular have changed. They've gotten a bit of a throwback from what they used to be with Pulis and Allardyce and those kind of teams, where they're sitting two banks of four, they're digging deep and say, come break us down. And they're trying to hit you on the break with a little bit of pace, a set play, a corner or a throw in launch into the box with somebody getting their head on it or a toe poke, and then they get a 1-0 win and they sit back. I mean, weird enough, Manchester United did that. They actually forgot to say it when I did my video about everyone having a different opinion and that being okay and don't attack each other and all that. One of the justifications I saw somebody put on X. I don't post anymore. I do look, but I don't post. And somebody had said, oh, well, we've got to Old Trafford. We've only been beat 1-0. That shows you how far we're progressing. You're like, whoa, hang on a fucking minute. That's not the Manchester United that I watched growing up watching football. That's not the Manchester United with Roy Keane, Paul Scholes, David Beckham, Ryan Giggs, Rooney, Ronaldo, Van Nistelrooy, Andy Cole. That's not that Manchester United. That Manchester United was fucking dreadful, and they were missing all of their best players through injury or AFCON. That was a Carabao Cup Manchester United. So to go to Old Trafford and get nothing out of that game was dreadful by Newcastle. But it's those people that shout at you for questioning the manager or the players, just looking for any excuse to give these lads excuses, and that was unacceptable for them not to get a result at Old Trafford. It really wasn't. And as you guys said in the comments there, look at Wolves. Wolves got a performance there. Wolves are dead men walking. They really, really are. Absolutely terrible. I nearly forgot about actually. Mark said that Burnley fan in the first half did more shouting. He was brilliant. Did you hear him, by the way, on Sky? If he didn't, he shouted, fucking wake up. For fuck's sake. Like, I thought he was excellent. And then the Sky commentator kept apologizing for it. I love that kind of stuff, man. I really, really do. But yeah, there'll be some fannies that are probably complaining about on Sky, typing strongly worded emails. I can't believe the foul language I heard on Sky Sports tonight. And I get it in my comments. Like, there's some regular Bible bashers that give me jip for swearing. And even though we put in big, bold writing, it's not for kids. Jesus fucking Christ. There's a little bit of blasphemy in there for you too. Thanks for watching. Matty Magpie says, happy with that, but fuck me. Lack of schoolboy basics was really worried. Yeah, 100%. I think he's overcomplicated it. They've overcomplicated it, whether it's Bunce or how, whatever, but somebody has. Droffy says, good win, but can someone tell Ramsey to fucking run at full pace? He's shown nothing up to now. 45 million quid, was it? Villa are absolutely laughing their nuts off. fucking dreadful, in my opinion. He's just a copy and paste Joe Willock. He's actually worse than Joe Willock. When I was excited when we signed him, because I thought, there's an upgrade in Joe Willock. Fucking terrible. Didn't get anywhere near my team. I'm sick of hearing people saying, we'll get Ramsey in the midfield. What the fuck? Because I'd rather have Chris Ramsey in the midfield. He'd probably do more running than this useless bastard. He's terrible. Pedersen, you think Tonali's pregnant wife is homesick, wanting to go home to her mammy? Maybe. There's always stories about him being homesick, because I think the Italians were so pissed off that he left, because he was like the poster boy for the Italian team, the next Pirlo and all that. And the way he left was a bit ropey. And then obviously the whole ban thing and all that stuff. And, they want him back in Serie A because they want him to be like one of those, star players in Serie A to come back. Yeah, so I think a lot of that's just shit stirring and mischief making, but there might be some truth in it. You never know. Scotty says, surely new fullback should be here by next week. 100% has to be. They're linked to a couple of French lads, I think, who can play centre half and fullback as well. So that'll be good. Swap a couple of midfielders for one major impact midfielder ASAP. Yeah, I tell you, I was watching Matty from the Magpie channel the other day. I don't think this will happen, but he come up with an absolute pearl of a player to sign for that attacking midfielder, that advanced midfielder who can play through the lines and break low blocks. And it was Morgan Gibbs-White. And I thought, fucking hell, that would be an unbelievable signing for Newcastle. But I think he cost you 70 million quid. And I don't think Marinakis would sell him. He's a fucking maniac. But what a player that would be for Newcastle. If Newcastle can get him in the summer, he's 25 years old. He'd be perfect player for Newcastle at the side of that position. Absolutely. I'd still have a dabble for Jared Bowen as well for the right-hand side, even though he's 29. I'd still have a dabble at Jared Bowen if West Ham go down, which they could do. But, 100%. Morgan Gibbs-White, Matty was bang on the money there. Great player. Alan Thompson saying, Chris, sorry to go against the tide, judging by how we're treating Eddie Howe, but there must be 17 clubs want a new manager. Just saying, yeah, you're not wrong. Yeah, but that's every fan's God-given right, mate, isn't it? To question a manager when they don't think that he's doing the business, and he's not doing the business. Jess says, I'd rather get Anderson back out of Forest and push Tonali to the left 8. I think Tonali will be gone, mate, so I don't think we have to worry about that at all. Chris is down. No, let's not go there, mate. I'll have Danny Dyer kicking me head in both of them. Dad and daughter be chinning us double bubble, mate. Punch you in the fucking face, mate. Cockney wankers. Comment there for them about, I'm not saying Cockney wankers. I know a lot of Cockneys in there, can to be fair. Stuart said, Murphy is a fucking wanker, by the way. Never seen someone flip-flop so much, doing decent then horrific. But he has plates on his boots out of the stadium. I mean, he missed that chance. I was fucking screaming when he missed that chance. It really was. Asker says, I think Gordon's time has come. Yeah, I think Gordon hasn't showed up for a long time. Bruni says, there's a good hiding coming against Man City. Yeah, I can't see us getting past City. I really can't. Graham says, to win, but an ugly one. Absolutely. A bit more positivity on that one. Mighty Magpie says, whoever we sign, we have the customary 6 millionth no games probation, a 6-month probationary period. Yeah, he's not Eddie Reddy. We might see him next year. And Asker has been a member for 1 month as well. Thank you very much, Asker. Appreciate that. Let's have a look here. Every manager has not paid hundreds of millions on shite, says Andrew. That's a valid point. A very valid point. We have let Eddie off a little bit, I think, with some of these signings because they have been fucking honking, some of them. They really, really have. Langer in particular. I mean, if there was any chance of Morgan Gibbs-White in any possible way, I'd be offering Langer back to Forest plus cash for him. I really, really would, because that would do us all a favour, to be brutally honest with you, because Langer is awful. I've made my mind up with him a long time ago. He is dreadful. But I think that's just pretty much wrapped up for tonight, guys. Didn't want to make it too much of a long one because I'm shattered, to be honest with you. That game really sent me to sleep as well at some points in terms of just being shit and boring. But thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in tonight and the comments. And also, as this is the 30th of December, thank you so much for all interactions this year in 2025. We were an absolute cracker in 2025 as ever more. The channel's grown massively. You guys have all come on board. We've had so many positive comments, so many likes on videos. We really appreciate it. I do. Mark does. This isn't a mainstay thing for us. We kind of fit this in around our normal lives, but it's great to come on and interact with you guys after games. It's great to have the conversations, the rants, the thoughts of the day, transfer links, hear what you guys have got to talk about it. This is a safe space for people to have an opinion about Newcastle United, and whether you like the manager or you don't, whether you like that player or you don't, whether you want this player to play there or that player to play, that's absolutely fine on our chat. You know, the social media element, certainly with the Newcastle United hashtags, is fucking awful at the minute. It's toxic, it's rank, it's dreadful. You know, so to have a nice, safe space where we can all have a good chat about Newcastle, I'm really, really happy, and Mark as well, that we've got that space here for you guys, and we enjoy it, hopefully, as much as you guys do. So have a fantastic new year, whatever you're doing. If you're sitting in the house having a takeaway, watching the TV, or if you're going out getting pissed somewhere, you're partying, you know, your arse off in Dubai or wherever the hell you may be on any part of the world, have a great New Year's Eve. Have a brilliant time with your family and your friends and those you love the most. And we will be back with some more videos soon. I will get the Palace preview up. Mark will be back for the post-match live reaction to the Palace game. Then we've got loads of transfer talk and everything else to go in the next few days, because January sales, they'll be happening. And I think Newcastle will have to do something. But thanks for watching, guys. Have a belter, and we'll see you later. Cheers.
Celebrate. They have done it.